Mars, a fascinating world that used to be the domain of science fiction movies and novels, but now is the subject of policy debate. There's a side for colonization, led by entrepreneurs like Elon Musk, that believe that the human race need a backup colony on this faraway world. And then there are others who believe that we need to solve the problems on this planet before we try to colonize another. Both sides have a compelling argument, but I'm here to tell you that the people who argue that we need to endlessly stay here and try to solve unsolvable problems and not go to Mars are a bunch of well-educated morons who are endangering the future of the human species. Good evening, and welcome to episode 3 of The Angry Astronaut. And happy holidays, by the way. As some of you may have ascertained by the intro that I just did, I'm going to be talking about the colonization of Mars. This has been a debate that's been going on for a long time. There are those led by entrepreneurs like Elon Musk that feel that we need to colonize Mars as quickly as possible. Within 5 years, he says. Sounds crazy, but I'm all for it. And then there are those who say that there are entirely too many problems on our own planet before we can afford to spend billions of dollars colonizing the solar system. Now, recent developments, which are much different than when these arguments were going on when I was a kid. Been going on for decades, but recent developments have made our need to colonize Mars and establish a secondary presence on another planet more vital than ever. But before we move on to that argument, we need to talk about the other side of the equation and the people who represent it. And the first person to represent the other side of the argument. Oh my God. Some of you probably already know what he thinks, but it completely breaks my heart. Have a look. That's right, Jean-Luc Picard himself, Patrick Stewart. I'm a bit of a wet blanket when it comes to the whole business of space travel, he said in a BBC interview. As I get older, my unease at the time and the money that has to be spent on projects putting human beings back to the moon and on to another planet is so enormous, and it would take so many resources, etc., etc. Yeah, I told them that if they were Patrick Stewart fans, that they'd get triggered and they should click off on this. Yeah, I did tell them about that. I told them that if they got triggered easily, they should click off this whole video. Oh, wait a minute. You know, maybe I didn't. Well, I mean, this is the angry astronaut after all. I mean, if they don't get triggered, then... What did you call me? Go to hell. Jesus. Anyway. Oh, where were we? Oh, yeah. Well, since I've pissed a lot of you off already, let's talk about something pleasant. Our Lego promo, once again. You know the deal. We need 100 subscribers in the next 30 days, or a bit less than that now. There's so much content on YouTube that is so much worse than this. 100 subscribers is not that much. We got a dozen now. Let's keep going. Come on. Okay, let's get back to things. Dear Sir Patrick, how I used to love thee. But you know something? You're a damn blockhead. Do you have any idea what sort of icon you represent when it comes to space exploration. And I read the comments that came after your BBC article, and they were all exclusively, almost exclusively, in support of you. Why? Because you're so charismatic, because you're such a good actor, because you're such a wonderful person. And I don't think you thoroughly realize what you're doing here. I really don't. So, before I explain exactly what's being done here, we need to move on to somebody else that is also representing the cause of idiocy. That's right. Everybody's hero the world over, Bill Nye the Science Guy. In an interview with USA Today, he said, quote, "We can't even take care of this planet where we live, and we're perfectly suited for it, let alone another planet. People disagree with me on this, and the reason they disagree is because they're wrong," Nye joked. "Nobody goes to Antarctica to raise a family. You don't go there and build a park. There's just no such thing. No one's going to go to settle on Mars to raise a family." Would you stop calling me? No, I didn't tell them about Bill Nye either. No, I don't have a death wish. Why do you think I wear this thing over my face? Yeah, I know that they're probably going to figure out who I am anyway, but, well, they got to know about this. I don't have time to tell you about it. I got to tell them. Get the hell off my phone. Eesh. All right. So Bill goes on to say that he wins these arguments because he explains that Mars is incredibly cold, and that there's almost no water, which isn't really accurate. There's actually a lot of water on Mars. And also the little detail of there's nothing to breathe. But Bill, there's something else that you're really passionate about that makes the need of going to Mars and colonizing it an absolute essential. And in the process of dissing on the concept of going to Mars, you're a damn knucklehead yourself. You are, like Patrick Stewart, a massive icon. People respect you. They revere you. They're going to listen to what you have to say, and they're going to go, Oh, we can't colonize Mars. It's impossible. It's impractical. We need to focus on Earth. But Bill, the other thing that you're really passionate about is something that's getting worse and worse by the day, and something that necessitates that we have a second presence elsewhere. And when Elon Musk, though, talks about our need for a second human presence and huge disasters that might necessitate that, he always talks about an asteroid. Elon, I love you, but that's just not a great idea. The last extinction level event that we had that slammed into the Earth happened over 60 million years ago during the Cretaceous period. The odds of another asteroid on that magnitude hitting us in the next 1,000 years, and that's assuming that we couldn't even stop it, are so infinitesimally small as to be disregarded. No wonder nobody takes it seriously. No, we need to talk about things that are a much, much greater threat. Immediate threat. And that's something that Bill Nye cares a whole lot about. You know where I'm going here, and that's climate change, also known as global warming. And if you are a global warming denier, then you can click off this video and get the hell out. While you're at it, stop wasting our air. This has been proven time and again and again and again by experts. And I am sick of your nonsense. But if you need a little bit more proof to demonstrate to you that global warming is real, and that we are causing it, and it's an immediate threat to our society, well, have a look at this. Speaking of... That's right. Donald Trump's own administration, the people he appointed to research global warming, concluded that climate change was real and that it was being caused by man. And yet Trump and his millions of howling supporters continue to insist that it's a hoax. Unbelievable. And then, when teenage girls, you know who I'm talking about, when 16-year-olds come out to try to make the case for global warming and to do something to save the earth, well, certainly 16-year-olds are above reproach. Nope. Men old enough to be her grandfather have decided to cyberbully her, call her a brat. But the really awful thing, as if there could be anything more awful than the fact that we're doing nothing to stop this problem, is that it can get so much worse. At the end of 2019, we are looking at about a 2 degrees Celsius increase over where we were 100 years ago. We need to come up with a new term for that. We need to call it 1/3 of the way to extinction. Why? Let's talk about what a 4-degree world would look like. And this is very possible, by the way. In fact, probable. According to the climatologists and the experts, very intelligent people who have a lot of data to support them have concluded a 4-degree increase in temperature is getting close to being unavoidable. That has some really cataclysmic problems. What does it look like? Well, seas rising to unbelievable levels, submerging almost the entirety of Florida, along with huge amounts of populated coastline, vast deserts, increasing areas of this planet that become uninhabitable, and therefore contracting amounts of resources that are being squabbled over by billions upon billions of desperate people. And the only nations who would be able to hold on to these resources would be the countries with the militaries to defend them. Countries like the United States, Russia, the European Union, China, countries with nuclear weapons. And there are other countries too that have nuclear weapons. Far poorer countries like India, South Africa, Pakistan. Countries that would also resort to using nuclear weapons to get the resources that they need. And what happens if a country that's being threatened decides that they're bluffing, that they're not actually going to push the nuclear button? What happens then? Horrifying. But let's say we get through that somehow. The temperature continues to rise. What does a 6-degree world look like? Well, I have one word for that. Extinction. And I'm not exaggerating. Because unfortunately, we know what a 6-degree world looks like. The last time we had a planet with that kind of temperature was 250 million years ago. And the reason that it involves extinction is the more the temperature goes up, the more methane escapes from the permafrost and from the seabed. It's already happening in Russia, where they're having massive fires currently, and the Russian authorities are threatening people who live in that area with their lives if they say anything about it. Because what else is in the Arctic where they're having all these fires? That's right, oil. And we all know how much Vladimir Putin loves oil. So, methane continues to escape from the seabed and the permafrost, and methane is a greenhouse gas that is 20 times more potent. 20 times more potent than CO2. So, the last time we had a world that had that much methane in the atmosphere, as I said before, 250 million years ago. And at that time, there are a couple of species of animals that could survive on the continents and bacteria in the oceans. So as I said before, extinction. A planet where nothing can survive. That's why we absolutely need a second human presence. Because global warming isn't just something that's going to be inconvenient. It's something that could quite easily exterminate our species in the relatively near future. Not my future. I'm 50. I'm going to be dead by the time the worst of this starts to hit. But my children, my grandchildren, they are going to be facing hell on earth at close range. That's why we need a human presence on Mars. So what about Bill Nye's claim? Would Mars be worse than Antarctica and we would just bring our human hell with us? I think no. Because Antarctica is so foreboding, we have to rely on each other in order to be able to survive. That's what makes it different. Plus, it is a very, very beautiful place, and the crime rate's very low. And don't forget places like Olympus Mons, a volcano the size of France, and 2.5 times the height of Mount Everest. What a place to explore. Or the Valles Marineris, a Grand Canyon that could stretch all the way across the United States. Geologists could spend their whole life exploring a place like that. And that last comment that Bill Nye had to make about not raising a family in Antarctica, I'm not sure if he's aware of this, but at least 11 children have been born in Antarctica that we know of. So it is possible. Not easy. It's very harsh, but possible. Just as Mars would be. And if it's a choice between living a harsh life on Mars or extinction, I think I know what my choice is. Now look, I'm not sitting here and telling you that the Earth is definitely on a road to disaster and that global warming is definitely going to bring about the extinction of our species. We're headed that way, but things can be done to stop it. It may not happen. I mean, I've got stock in Tesla, for heaven's sake. So, we still have a chance if we take decisive action now. But in the meantime, it would be foolhardy for us not to establish a second human presence elsewhere. And in Elon Musk's view, that's 1 million people on the surface of Mars in a self-sustaining colony by 2100. Sounds impossible. But in future episodes, I'm going to show you a little bit more about how that might be possible, along with some scary facts about other ways that we could become extinct if we don't become a multiplanetary species. In the meantime, though, when it comes to global warming, one particular pet peeve that I have is that internal combustion engines are being force-fed to children in the form of Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars and God knows what else, and monster trucks. In my search through Walmart, Target, God knows where else, I found one Tesla 300 series. So, here at the Angry Astronaut, we know what to do about this problem. Good evening, Merry Christmas, and welcome to the final part of the Angry Astronaut, Episode 3. As you can see here, as I mentioned to you before, 2 toys that really piss me off. That's right, monster trucks. Thousands, if not millions of children on this very night are playing with their newfound toys and dreaming of the day when they can own something like this or something similar so that they can destroy the environment like all the adults that bought these toys for them. And if they can't have a monster truck, then they're going to build something that looks like one with dualies or ridiculously huge wheels. These sorts of things are leading to our destruction. It's hard to believe, right? And certainly I'm not going to blow up children's toys, right? Yes, I am. I am going to blow up children's toys with an incendiary warhead and a healthy dose of napalm. Wish me luck. For those in the monster truck business, this is for you, assholes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Very nice. Oh, very nice indeed. Watch it burn. Watch it burn. I guess it's about time to put it out, though. What? What'd you say? Water doesn't work on napalm? Holy shit. Let's get the fuck out of here.